Hey y'all, it is time for me to share with y'all just a look at what I did for week 2 of Index Card a Day, or ICAD. So day 8, the prompts were sorbet and texture plate. I tried to incorporate some sorbet-ish colors into this using, here's Neo colors. I did some acrylic paint on a texture plate. I even used, this didn't work out great. You'll see when I put it on my card, the texture's just not there. So I got kind of frustrated and played around with this. I'm going to end up with something that really doesn't have the sorbet colors or the texture plate in it, but they were good jumping off points for me. I did add, you'll see here, some distress oxide in a yellow color, and it's going to be really pretty when I finally get it there, but yeah, it's not great. So these are just snippets of what I did on each of the cards for this second week of ICAD. If you want to see the full videos, if you saw video 1, you know that I have all of that over on Patreon. And of course, I'll have the link below for that. So here's kind of where it's like a midway point of this where it's getting a little bit grungier and more where I like it. And then I'm going to give you a couple looks here at what this card actually ended up looking like. Yeah, a lot different than where I started from. Day 9, I had embroidery in your favorite metallic color as my prompts. And yeah, I thought, okay, these are going to be easy enough. So I took an embroidered pillowcase, as you can see here, and tore it down. I'm going to end up only using a tiny little snippet of that, just one of the flowers that are on there. And then for my favorite metallic color, I decided for cards or mixed media like this, I tend to use gold. So I use one of my hand-carved stamps and some gold paint to get that on there. I think I also splatter some of this gold paint around on the card to get that. And that's, you kind of get a good look at what this card's going to end up looking like. I've got those on there. You can see the gold, you can see the embroidery, no big deal. Now, day 10, arrow and bird were the prompts, and y'all, you can see that at the top of the frame there. I had those just in my prepped stash of things for ICAD, and so that worked out perfectly. To alter the bird, this is just a bow bunny stamp. I think it's called Birds of a Feather or something like that is the stamp set. I used my Neo colors again, along with, I think, some Tim Holtz watercolor pencils, but it goes through several stages before it gets to the final stage. This is just where I started with it. And for the arrow, I colored it like a golden color, but then brought in some black rub and buff to give a little bit of age to it. And y'all, this card, you can see at the top of the frame here, oh my gosh, I love the background of this card. So for me, it's less about the bird and the arrow and much more about that luscious background. I love it. And yeah. Day 11, tidepool and realism. Now, I can't say that I went in thinking I am not going to use either one of these, but I feel like maybe I used tidepool a little bit in that I'm using a bunch of little scraps. And when the tide recedes, what's left in tide pools are little scraps of things that live in those pools. So some of my collage kind of felt like that. And I'm not positive that I ever brought realism into this so much, but it was a neat idea to consider. Nina definitely has done a really good job with these art styles of explaining them in reels over on her Instagram. So if you're interested in her set of prompts, go check her out. And of course, the first set of original prompts are from Tammy Garcia, who you can find as Gypsy999, or Daisy Yellow Art is her website. But the Index Card a Day Instagram profiles where you want to look for pretty much everything. So as you can see, I added some texture to this with stitching on some fabric, and I added a bunch of other yumminess and love this card in the end. Day 12, twig and something thrifted sounded easy enough. You can see I have this twig. It was on my kitchen counter. I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to use. And for something thrifted, I had some these Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays that I thrifted in an estate sale years and years and years ago. So I thought they'd be the perfect thing to grunge up that collage. I took a bunch more steps to get this gorgeous background that I absolutely love before I finally stuck down this lichen covered twig with some E6000 and some stitching. So it was a lot of fun. Like I said, most of it was just about getting that background. Took me a little bit, but it's luscious, and you'll get a couple good looks at this one. And then we'll get to day 13. Oh, y'all, look at that. Oh my gosh. It's so good. I love it. Day 13's prompts are iridescent and texture paste. Now, iridescent was something I knew I was going to struggle with, but I had this shoebox that had this iridescent paper on it. So I'm going to, once I got my background kind of nice and grungy, I pulled up that iridescent paper, and I'm going to make it as like a halo-esque effect behind this Tim Holtz Photomatic image. So that's how I do that. I'm also using the texture paste, is some homemade texture paste of mine. I backed that image and the iridescent paper with that, and also put the texture paste around on my card. And you can see here I'm using some ink to bring out the texture a bit more. So that was a fun one because it definitely challenged me. The iridescent's not really my grungy style. Leopard and braille, well, I had just gotten a package from Ricky Tikki Tavi, and she had a little bit of happy papers in there, and there was this little bit of braille paper in there, so that worked out perfectly. And that's going to go down along with some embossed papers. And I really didn't think I was going to bring leopard into this card because it's not, animal print's not usually my style, but I'm going to add some spots. So but I used both a hand carved stamp with some black soot distress oxide, and then once I grunge up the card a little bit more, I'm going to brighten it up with some white spots using a Sharpie paint pen. Yep, just like this. And you can see how grungy I got that background. So once again, if you're interested in seeing me create these, definitely go subscribe to my Patreon. It's only $7.50 a month, and you get a whole month's worth of videos. So let me know if you have any questions or anything. Definitely go check me out on Instagram. You can see more pictures there, along with follow me here on YouTube for other things. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them. Bye.